A new report alleges turmoil within CBS News under its new management, led by Editor-in-Chief Bari Weiss. The report from Variety magazine says that 10 people familiar with the network say that it's veering toward dysfunction, with some staff becoming skeptical of the changes Weiss has made since taking over.
It reads in part, quote, "These people suggest a cascade of recent errors at CBS News, rushing incoming, quote, evening news anchor." Oh, I don't know. It's in quotes. He is the evening Tony DeCoppel into his into his job without a longer period. Oh, rushing him into that DeCoppel into his job without a longer period to promote his arrival, airing a town hall with Erica Kirk without mainstream ad support, pulling a 60-minute segment after it already had been announced, and they have eroded CBS News value and credibility and can only be fixed if producers and reporters challenge Weiss more regularly. It continues, to journalists, Weiss is an outsider who is skilled at attracting digital attention, but prone to traditional TV flubs, and she appears to take a dim view of her staff, releasing multiple statements about how America has lost trust in the mainstream media, and yet if she and CBS News journalists want to win new audiences, they'll all need to hold their noses and get along. Now, Weiss started her job at CBS News in October as her media company, the Free Press, was acquired by CBS's parent company, Paramount. The move was celebrated by some who felt that Weiss could bring new life to the news division. But her detractors argue she lacks the experience to handle such a big job. Content creator Matt Bernstein, writing on X, quote, "Person who has failed upwards her entire career, now failing at the highest level possible."
However, others suggested this is just part of the plan for Weiss and that the changes are necessary to help reform the network. Author Jennifer Say wrote, "What is so dumb about this is that every company, when a new CEO comes in, a new head of anything, has this same issue. The old people are mad. They don't like new leadership. They want things how they always were. This is dumb." And writer Amy Curtis says, "Not valuing the standards held by veteran journalists is Bari Weiss's best feature." So I read this fact-free little article in Variety that has everyone speaking on condition of anonymity. Wasn't that a journalistic value, that you put people on the record and you name them unless like their life is at risk or something? You can always get people to complain about their workplace, complain about their boss. If you give them anonymity so they face no consequences, that's worth very little to me. Of course, they're upset with what Bari Weiss is doing because they don't agree with her ideologically. Bari Weiss is a center-right figure with some idiosyncratic anti-woke, anti-DEI, idiosyncratic in the media. They're very popular ideas broadly. And the staff doesn't like her, doesn't like the new person coming in, changing anything about their failing business model. Yes, it's offensive to the staff to say people have lost faith in the mainstream media. People have lost faith in the mainstream media. I'm sorry if that's offensive to anyone. It's true. They have yet to, there are no tangible examples of major screw-ups she's presided over here. It's sour grapes. Sour grapes. And that's all I have to say about that.
You know what? I am somebody who thought, first of all, I could look at Bari Weiss's career separately and what she's accomplished with 1.5 million readers on the Free Press and how they acquired it. Her understanding a new media space that CBS News and some of the older companies are grappling to understand. I know because I have experience working with a lot of them. The digital came last, and now they're realizing, okay, I should have probably put that as more of a priority. And so bringing somebody like her in is valuable. Also understanding that her role is not the end-all, be-all. There's still a president of CBS News that's been there since for years now and stayed in position. They both report directly to the leaders at Paramount. And so I think that their values or their decision-making has equal merit. I would say that it's a little chaotic. I mean, promoting a new CBS News anchor with barely any promotion is kind of historically not something that we've seen. You usually rev people up for that type of decision. I also think him telling Marco Rubio, "I salute you," or "We salute you," was odd. And that's still, no, don't huff and puff. All right. That was odd. Come on, that was odd.
I would have dropped that line.
And I also think that if you have a bunch of journalists that have turned in a piece, and I understand what editing looks like, I've had my work edited, obviously we all do, and if we work under anyone, or even maybe have the privilege like Amber to be the top editor. But either way, you understand what that combing through process looks like. So once you get to the point of promotion, and once at a news station you get past an extremely rigorous legal team like CBS has to make sure that the stories are accurate and not putting you in any particular precarious position. Well, for her to pull the story at that point after it's been promoted multiple times, that is problematic. It means that you really think that your journalists are inept.
It ran on Sunday.
Yeah, but I'm saying to pull it that long ago in the process of it supposed to be airing.
Said it
like,
needed more
I know,
work.
but making that decision either means that you are failing at your job or the whole staff that you trusted to get to the point are failing. Because it should have been pulled before it's even promoted or before it even goes all the way through the legal.
It happens all the time. When I was more in a writing and reporting role for Reason Magazine, periodically happened that the editor says this isn't ready yet. You got to do a couple more things to it, even though you really want to publish it now, and you wait, and that's how it goes.
But does that happen after you've been on every network promoting that this article comes out Monday? No, that doesn't usually happen then. They would tell you it
realize something at the last minute is deficient about it. Better to buff it up than publish it before it's ready, because you don't want to take on liability. You don't want to publish something that's wrong or was not fact-checked appropriately or didn't allow for comment from the other person. This is when all the mistakes in journalism get made, when you don't consider the other perspective. This is what happened to, I always bring it up just because it's a case I was involved in, the Rolling Stone infamous UVA gang rape story from 2014, where everybody said this sounded like the most amazing, horrifying story ever. This woman was viciously assaulted in a fraternity at UVA, but she had not asked for comment even though the victim claimed she knew who did it to her, and the reporter didn't ask for comment. Comment from anyone else in the story would have revealed that this was entirely made up and would have saved the magazine a flurry of lawsuits from sued by the dean of students, the fraternity brothers in their individual capacity, all because they rushed that story out without bothering to check if it was true. And it's never wrong to wait. Sorry.
Well,
That's journalism. They're complaining that she's not doing journalism right. That is journalism being done right. Journalism not being done right is asking people anonymously to bash their workplace environment.
Let me tell you something. Steve Jobs didn't know how to code himself, right? But what he was a great leader, a great orator, a great communicator, right? I think that he had good rapport with the team. Part of the job after you go from, like, let's say, actual writer to journalist to newsroom leader to now overseeing an entire division would be to learn how to communicate. So if you're out in the press and you're saying things like, mainstream media is not, okay, talk to people like they're adults. These people also should be respected in their given tenured careers. A lot of people at CBS News have been there for decades. Sometimes people don't leave those jobs. I know people who've worked there for decades. And so just show them some respect of communication. And that's what I think might be lacking here. I'm not in the building. I haven't talked to my friends that work over there recently, but I can try to find out how they're feeling. But it does seem like, there needs to be a mutual respect of what people do. Just because they're not on the same level as you as far as running the place doesn't mean that you don't have to value the people that report to you. Because otherwise you're going to end up killing all the energy to want to show up to be their best. You know how it feels when you hate a job and you're just, going. It's not the same thing as if you love it or if you feel. You don't have to love it, and someone doesn't have to treat you perfectly, but somebody should reward hard work. They should communicate well and tell you what the directives are, so you're not just like in limbo. And I think that is good leadership. And perhaps, again, I'm not in the building, Bari Weiss could take a couple pages out of a great leader like Steve Jobs' playbook to figure out how to do that.
All right. Well, we've got a lot more to talk about on Rising. Stay with us.